Hello, once again, and welcome to another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Lots of games, lots of stuff to get to. Let's jump right in, starting, of course, with the news. Evan Phillips is officially undergoing Tommy John surgery, the club announced. He was moved to the 60-day IL with the acquisition of Alexis Diaz, so he will be out for a while. Once again, Evan Phillips undergoing Tommy John surgery. A lot of moves made by the Diamondbacks yesterday. Jeff Brigham and Ildemaro Vargas are the ones who joined the team. Well, in order for that to happen, a 40-man roster spot had to be made. Joe Mantiply has been DFA'd by Arizona. The Padres are promoting one of their top pitching prospects, Bradley Rodriguez. He will join their bullpen. Kyle Hart is optioned down. A 40-man roster spot is going to have to be made. I didn't see if they made one already or if this will happen tomorrow, later today rather. But Bradley Rodriguez has a good fastball. He can touch triple digits. He's been up to 101 in the past. Not sure what that translates to in terms of fantasy and what role he will take, but congratulations to Bradley Rodriguez. AJ Smith-Shawver diagnosed with a torn UCL. Not really a surprise. I mean, he said that he felt a pop in his elbow, so it's not super surprising that he's going to be, having to undergo Tommy John. He goes on the 60-day IL, and the Braves sign outfielder Jose Azocar. With the Tigers, there's a few things going on here. Jackson Jobe is heading to the IL with a flexor strain. Mentioned Dylan Smith, who's going to take that roster spot in order to make room on the 40-man roster. Alex Cobb, who signed a 2-year deal prior to this season, is going to the 60-day IL. He has yet to make his Tigers debut after signing that contract. So Jackson Jobe going to be out for at least a little bit, heading to the 15-day IL. Dylan Smith will join the rotation. The Tigers also claimed former first-round pick Ryan Cusick from the Athletics off of waivers. Cusick will head to Toledo. He's a former first-round pick of the Braves. He was involved in the Matt Olson trade. Didn't pan out well with the A's rather. High walks, high strikeouts. He was in a bullpen role most recently. We'll see. I mean, the Tigers have had a lot of pitching wins recently, so maybe they see something and maybe they can have another successful reclamation project with Ryan Cusick. Anthony Santander heading to the IL with left shoulder inflammation. Alan Roden is going to be taking his spot on the Blue Jays roster. Their outfield's pretty crowded, though. I mean, George Springer, Dalton Varsho, Nathan Lucas, Jonathan Clase, Miles Straw. I mean, they have a lot of outfielders, so let's see how they deal with all that. Somebody's going to have to play somewhere else, maybe. I don't know, but they do have a lot of outfielders with Roden coming back. The Rockies have made a slew of moves, as they have in the past, it seems like. They make moves in bunches. Nick Martini has been DFA'd. Idale Amador is optioned down. Amador, of course, kind of struggling. He has been struggling at the big league level. Sam Hilliard is back in Colorado, and Thairo Estrada returns from the IL. Hilliard actually homered in his return. At some point, you got to see Zach Veen again, right? I don't know when, but at some point, it seems like that's someone who has to be in their thoughts. Moving to the Orioles, Cedric Mullins heads to the IL with a mild hamstring strain. They recently signed Cooper Hummel, who will, it seems like, take that roster spot or play some sort of role. Cody Poteet is going to head to the 60-day IL. If you recall, Cody Poteet was the basically free reason that Cody Bellinger is a Yankee right now. And Kobe Mayo, I saw this, don't know what else is happening, but Kobe Mayo is reportedly headed to join up with the Orioles. So Kobe Mayo is expected to be back with the O's at some point soon. So keep your eye out on that news. All I saw was that he was heading to the team. I didn't see anything else, so I wish there was more for me to share. The Rays have optioned Chandler Simpson. My notes say option Chandler Simpson for some reason. I mean, the dude's third in steals, playing not as many, like ridiculously small amount of games. He's added something to their team. He's not, struggling. He was hitting like 280, but Jake Mangum returns returns rather, and they needed a spot. So after I think it was a 6-week run, Chandler Simpson is going to head back down to AAA. He should be back at some point this year. Again, he was successful at the big league level, so We'll see how long he is down. In Miami, Matt Mervis and Ronnie Simone have been DFA'd. Marlins plan to select Heriberto Hernandez and Jack Winkler to their roster. Winkler was taken in the minor league portion of the Rule 5 draft this past offseason. Was hitting 275 in AAA, so obviously hitting well and earned this call up. Now, with Mervis gone, this is just me tinkering in my own head. Joe Mack has been doing really well as a catching prospect for the Marlins. And at some point, you got to think they're going to want Mack and Augustin Ramirez in the same lineup. Ramirez may start getting reps at first base. That way they can clear room for Joe Mack to eventually take over a catching position or maybe a timeshare. I don't know. But at some point this season, it would make sense to have both of them up because Joe Mack is absolutely killing it in the minor leagues right now. Byron Buxton is back from the concussion IL. Carson McCusker optioned. McCusker had 1 hit, 4 strikeouts in his 6 at-bats at the big league level. Byron Buxton returned with a couple of hits. And final bit of news, happy news, Cole Reagans is going to be starting his rehab assignment, so he is on the comeback trail. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from yesterday's games. Yanier Diaz homers in back-to-back games. He adds another 2 hits. He had 2 hits in the game before, so 2 straight games now with a pair of hits and a home run. Seems like he may be heating up after his slow start. In Detroit, the homegrown youth movement happening was on display in the game yesterday. Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Dylan Dingler, all with home runs. And, of course, Wenzel Perez, 3 games back from his IL stint. He has a home run already. He added a double in the game yesterday. He's hitting 400 through his first 10 at-bats since coming off of the IL, so he's come off swinging. Francisco Lindor with a pair of home runs on 3 hits for the Mets. And for the A's, their offense exploded a little bit in terms of what they've been doing lately. They've been kind of, but they had a good game yesterday. Tyler Soderstrom, and Shea Langeliers both had home runs. And I've been watching Denzel Clark very closely. I try not to focus in on one player over and over on this podcast, but I have been watching Denzel Clark closely. I want that to work. He had a pair of hits and a walk, only 1 strikeout. Good to see because he has been an over machine with strikeouts. So hopefully this gets him a little bit of confidence and potentially maybe he'll start hitting the ball a little bit more because his defense needs to be at the big league level. It's just if his back can hang on. Ernie Clement, homers and doubles. This makes home runs in back-to-back games for him. He's hitting 370 over his last 7 games. Christian Yelich with a pair of home runs for the Brewers and 4 RBIs on 3 hits. He's up to 12 home runs on the year, hitting around 220 after this performance. Random stat. Sometimes baseball has weird stats. 3 Reds hit home runs in their game yesterday. All 3 of them were the 4th home run of the year for each of the players. TJ Friedel, Tyler Stevenson, Jake Fraley, all going deep in the game. Mentioned Buxton was back and had a couple of hits. Well, Willie Castro shining on the day with 2 home runs. And Trevor Larnach seems like he's been just hitting the ball well lately. Home run and a double in yesterday's game. It was only his 8th home run, but it seems like he's, I don't know. Every time I look, it seems like he has at least 1 hit, which is not backed up by his 256 average, but maybe I just like his first name. Seems like a possibility. Josh Bell hits another home run. That is now 3 straight games with long balls for the switch hitting first baseman, 6 RBIs over the last 2 games. He is locked in at the moment. And now these last few hitting highlights. The home run lead in the MLB is, well, it was fun in yesterday's games. Cal Raleigh was second, tied with Kyle Schwarber. He hit 2 home runs, bringing him up to 21 on the season, which was the mark that Shohei Ohtani was at entering the night. More on that later. But Cal Raleigh is now in second place by himself with 21 home runs. Aaron Judge was in third, trailing by just a single home run to Schwarber and Raleigh. He had a home run, so he's at 19. He's trying to keep pace. He added a double in the game as well. Shohei Ohtani refusing to give up that home run lead, hit 2 home runs. So he's up to 22 on the season. So I guess Ohtani's still in the lead with 22. and Rowley in second with 21. I saw something online. Cal Rowley is on pace for 61 home runs on the year. So not bad, I guess. No, that's fantastic, especially coming from the catcher position for fantasy. You love to see it. Taking a look at some of the pitching highlights from yesterday's games, Nick Pivetta continues to do well this season. 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, and a pair of earned runs. He did not walk anybody. Ryan Pepio threw 6 2/3 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. He has 9 strikeouts over his last 2 starts and has not given up a run in 13 2/3 innings. So a pair of back-to-back good outings for Ryan Pepio. Framber Valdez for the Astros, complete game. He did give up 1 earned run on a solo shot to Jose Caballero, but 9 strikeouts, 9 innings. A great day for Framber Valdez. Well, we're going to go back to hitting for a second because my notes are a little bit incorrect. Michael Garcia added 3 more hits for the Royals. He hit his second triple of the year, hitting 320 on his great season. So he's been fantastic. All right, back to pitching. Jack Leiter goes 5 2/3 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts, and a pair of walks. Kyle Harrison in the rotation for the Giants after starting the year at AAA. He came up and was in the bullpen. They've moved him to the rotation. He just made his second start as a member of the Giants rotation, went 5 shutout innings with 5 strikeouts and 3 walks. So rotation is suiting him well so far. David Peterson for the Mets surrendered 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts, and 5 2/3 innings. So a good outing from him. I had mentioned Luis L. Ortiz is like my pick to stream for today because the Angels have struggled against right-handed pitching. He has a penchant for getting a lot of strikeouts. Well, 5 strikeouts, 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run. So I'd say it went pretty well. DL Hall was the opener for the Brewers. He threw 3 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. He opened things up for Quinn Priester, who finished things off, going 6 innings, giving up 2 earned runs, but without a strikeout. So DL Hall's second appearance was as technically as the starter and went 3 innings before Priester finished things off. Zach Eflin, 7 shutout innings with 6 strikeouts. Andrew Abbott, my gosh, has he had a fantastic year up to this point. He started the year on the IL and since coming back has just been phenomenal. He's got a 1.51 ERA, and it dropped to that after he went 7 shutout innings and struck out 8 in the game yesterday. So Abbott, another phenomenal game. And Zebby Matthews, final starter I'm going to talk about, 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, did give up 4 earned runs. This was his, I believe, 3rd MLB start this year, and the strikeouts have been there so far. And one reliever that I would like to highlight, that is Miami's Jansen Junk, who is a former Angel, a former Brewer, maybe a former Yankee, if I'm remembering correctly. But I remember in some of the group chats that I've been in, him getting hyped up pretty well because there is a clear step forward in his stuff. Now, I don't know exactly if that's going to translate to holds, but he went 4 shutout innings, rather, striking out 5 in relief yesterday. He has 9 strikeouts and 9 innings across 2 appearances, giving up 1 earned run. So we'll see if he grows into something in that Miami bullpen, but the stuff has taken a step forward, and that is certainly good to see for Jansen Junk. And again, it's the Miami bullpen. Maybe he can find a way to carve out a leverage role, get holds, maybe eventually get some saves. I don't know. That's going to be something to watch. Again, he's only had 2 appearances since joining the Marlins. With that, we're going to take a quick timeout. We come back. I have a few pitchers that I am looking forward to tomorrow, and we will jump into those. I appreciate you joining me here once again. My name is Trevor Hooth, and this is the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. And welcome back to the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List. My name is Trevor Hooth. Always happy to have you here with me. We've looked at some news. We've looked at some highlights from yesterday's games. Well, let's take a look at today, see what's going on. The probable starter for the Blue Jays is Braden Fisher, who has appeared 7 times this season, all in relief. So he may not go very long, but in his 7 relief outings, he has 8 1/3 shutout innings with 12 strikeouts and just 1 walk. So again, it seems like maybe just an opener situation, but he's definitely been very effective out of the bullpen. And that makes it just a little bit interesting as he faces off against the Athletics offense, who outside of yesterday's game has kind of struggled offensively recently. The right-handed hitting woes of the Angels are going to come back up one more time for me. Slade Ciccone is on the mound for the Guardians. Love it as a streaming option if you can. The Angels have talked about their struggles against right-handed pitching. Ciccone has 14 strikeouts in 11 innings since returning for the IL and making his debut with the Guardians. So it seems like another recipe for success for a Guardians right-hander against the Angels lineup. Robbie Ray taking on the Marlins today. He has 14 strikeouts in his last 13 innings and only given up one earned run. That's across 2 starts, a 1.84 ERA over his last 7 starts. He has been very, very good. I mean, Robbie Ray looking vintage Robbie Ray right now, and that certainly is interesting. One of the other starters that I'm going to be tracking pretty heavily tomorrow, Bryce Miller, making his return from the IL. Not just, does he look healthy? Does he look better? He had struggles and struggles before heading to the IL. He enters with an ERA over 5. We will see how Bryce Miller looks. He's going to be squaring off against Bailey Ober and the Twins. Could be a fun one. And finally, my matchup of the day, I always like to throw one out there. It's going to be the Brewers versus the Phillies. Chad Patrick versus Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo has been fantastic all year, and Chad Patrick has been quite the surprise coming from the Brewers pitching lab. And he, like Luzardo, has been really good. Strikeouts aren't always there for him, but he's been a really good and reliable option for them, and really shaken things up because the Brewers had a lot of injuries. That's why Patrick even got an opportunity. And Patrick has forced his way as a mainstay into the rotation this year. So that should be a fun one. Patrick versus Luzardo, Brewers versus Phillies. And I will check back in on tomorrow's First Pitch podcast to see how that one goes down. But with that, I appreciate you being here. Make sure to check out pitcherlist.com. We got all of our wonderful things like the list that Nick does. We have the hitter list from Scott Chu. We have all of our reliever lists from Rick Graham. And of course, fantastic written content coming constantly on that site. Make sure to check it out. And if you're not a part of PL Plus and you're not in that Discord, join it. We talk a lot of baseball and we talk it all day. It's a great environment to be in. With that, I will see you guys tomorrow. This has been another edition of the First Pitch Podcast on Pitcher List.